Get it? When you're out here moving, make sure that you're doing you, that you're doing you. You're only born to do one thing.
Hello, it's the Certified Chaos Podcast. It's your boy EJ dafivbiroro, aka Man Hustle, aka Mr. What's going on?
And this Sir Lou is, and we're back, and we have a very special guest with us.
Go ahead, introduce yourself, man.
My name's Edward Davis, NFL sports agent with Checkmate Sports. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.
Man,
Appreciate
gratitude
you.
for you coming through, man.
Glad you came through. So how's everything been going, man?
I mean, but after last year, I think if you can make it out of last year, I think everything's going good, you know, because I literally just got a call walking into here that a good friend of mine, his mom just passed from COVID, so it strikes again.
Yeah.
So right now, I don't feel like we can be complaining about too much of anything, you know.
No,
so
not
right
at all.
now, life is good, and you know, we're just gonna keep going.
That's it, man. That's it. So as far as business-wise, was it challenging last year being considered?
Oh my gosh, yes, it was extremely difficult. It was my first year being certified in the business.
Okay.
Being an NFL
Congratulations
sports
on that,
agent.
man.
Appreciate it. And normally it's difficult just a regular year, but then you throw in the pandemic.
Right.
You throw in, you know, being a black man working in a white man,
Yes, sir.
dominated space. It was difficult. But we rolled with the punches. We was able to get two guys that were unranked prior to the draft, Travis Reed from South Alabama and Christian Angelo from Hampton University. We got them into the league. Travis went to the Colts and Christian went to the Giants. So through all of that, we persevered. And we accomplished our dream. So now we're just growing as a company, and we're looking forward to this draft.
Okay, yeah. And so what actually made you want to become an agent?
Well, to be honest, my dream was to go to the University of Georgia, play quarterback up there for a couple years. Then I wanted to go to the Atlanta Falcons, play quarterback, and try to do right by the city, get us a Super Bowl. But unfortunately, I didn't grow to be 6'5".
Right.
You know, I didn't get 6'3". I was like, okay.
Right.
And I didn't run a 4.3. And this is before Kyler Murray, Drew Brees. Well, not before Drew Brees, but before Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Before it was cool to be a 6-foot quarterback.
Right.
So I said, you know what? I might need to pivot. I wanted to get into being a football coach. But I didn't like the politics of college football. You know how it is. You know, you can promise a player one thing, then they get there, you get a job offer, you leave them there, abandon them. So I didn't like that. So I wanted to, saw Jerry Maguire. I love the idea of being an agent.
Right.
Show me the money.
And
That's very inspiring move,
it
right?
definitely was. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I did my research on it. I saw other black agents in the space and all I needed to see was somebody else doing it. And for the rest is history.
Okay. So shows like Jeremy Maguire and Ballers, are those pretty accurate depictions of what goes on behind the scenes?
Surprise! You know what? Jerry Maguire is scary accurate.
Okay.
It really is. They did a really good job of depicting, real life. Ballers is more of what we want it to be. The fantasy.
The pretty part.
Yeah, not saying that doesn't happen, but Jerry Maguire is more just from how his relationship was. He got divorced and, found a girl he was really supposed to be with.
These things are real.
And, it actually inspired me to get married, last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
You did it. Right.
Yeah,
You did a lot last
year,
like
I was,
big ups on that, man.
I've been through a lot last year. 2020 make you appreciate it.
But not to interrupt, but to hear, actually, in lieu of what's going on, to hear a success story and to hear a positive, aspect of what's been going on, it's good to see that. Because you see, like as you said, a lot's been going on, but just to hear what you're saying, you actually your first year challenging with the pandemic going on, you were able to still do what you came here for, and still get married as well. Like that's a lot accomplished, man.
Oh yeah, appreciate it.
Real,
it's funny because you don't realize how important having somebody in your corner who's loyal and that got your back until things happen.
Exactly.
So like I got engaged like in 2019. And to be honest, I wasn't even in a rush to get married. I was like, I was gonna make her happy.
Right.
We're gonna have a little fun and
As we
just go
should
from
do.
there. Right.
Yeah, as
but
men should
then
do.
after going through 2020 and just seeing how solid she was, and I realized, as a black man, we need that support system.
That's that other half.
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Two
most
halves,
definitely.
exactly.
So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's stop playing, because we don't,
You don't know what's going on.
we don't know when we'll get that call. So instead of playing around, I said let's go ahead and make it official and do it the right way.
That's what's up, man. That's congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
For real. So now we always like to inform people about how to actually get into a process of any job or any field. So what are the necessary steps it takes to actually become a sports agent?
It all depends on what type of agent do you want to be. It's a lot of misconceptions about the business that I feel like people who are making a lot of money in it, they don't want all of us to know that information.
Yeah.
And they do things to try to keep us out of it. So like when I first got out into trying to become an agent, I wanted to be intern. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because one of how long you was at Stone Mountain?
Whole time, 4 years.
Okay, so one of our, I ain't gonna say his name, but one of our principals at Stone Mountain is an agent.
Okay.
And I was trying to intern with him out of college, from undergrad and a master's. And I'll reach out to him like, hey man, we're from the community, we look alike.
Right.
We got enough people holding us back. Let's do something. I mean, he wouldn't give me an internship. I mean, it was ridiculous. And I started to realize, I said, man, if my own principal, and I wasn't bad. I was quarterback.
Right. You did what you did.
Yeah, I wasn't doing nothing crazy. I thought once I realized that I just realized that's the business. It's really difficult to get into it. But if you want to get into being an agent, the best thing I can say is just start building relationships with people. The easiest way is to have LeBron James be your best friend, or somebody, your brother coming out,
Right,
going to
exactly.
draft. But if you don't have those connections, then the next best thing is just to go to networking events. So if you want to become an agent, you should be at the NBA Summer League. You should be at the NFL Combine. You should be at those type of events. But long story short, it was so difficult for me to get into the business that when I finally got into it, I said that I wanted to give back, and I wanted to do it for people who look like us, because we need more agents, black agents in the business. So I created a master class for people who want to become sports agents.
Gotcha.
And we hosted, we had the first one Tuesday. We had 3 guys sign up, and the next one's going to be this Thursday. We're going to start doing them every Thursday, but it's for anybody who wants to get into business, because a lot of people think you need a college degree, and you don't.
Most of the time you don't.
All right.
Yeah,
You heard that. You heard what he said.
Yeah, you don't need one. It helps.
Yeah,
It most definitely helps. But I think Rich Paul, I think he showed us all that you don't need you don't need the law degree. You don't need all these fancy titles. You just need the relationship.
Now you were saying now what you said. Now, if you could give a rough estimate, what is the percentage of black agents? If you could say now.
To be honest, I would say probably that's a good question.
Under 10%?
Under 5%.
Okay.
Wow.
Under 5%.
So we talking under 5 in a lot of the sports that we dominate. Which is
It's funny. Forbes just put out the list for the top 5 or top 10 most powerful sports agents in the business.
Okay.
And the number 1 football agent was, according to Forbes, was David Mulugeta.
Okay.
He represents Deshaun Watson, Buda Baker, Michael Thomas, a lot of big time people.
Gotcha.
And he just made a post last night because somebody hit him on Twitter saying, why don't you represent white players?
Right.
And he said, white players won't allow me to.
wow.
And that blew my mind, because I'm like, this is,
Just
this guy
blew
just
mine
made
as well.
$46 million in commissions last year. The number 1 sports agent, most powerful sports agent in football right now, and he can't get a white player. But just imagine
The opposite way.
the opposite. Imagine if all the black players just signed with black agents.
Very
That'd be
powerful.
crazy.
That'd be crazy, right?
Change the narrative, change the perspective.
Right.
Yeah, and then you'll bring the unity aspect instead of it being this just talked about illusion. You'll bring it into this realm and it be real.
Exactly.
But I can see that the mind that you have. You're willing to spearhead such a movement, and that's what it takes. Whether it's 1, 10, just one individual to say, look, I see what's going on. There's a need for it, and I can tell, like, look, that's what you want to do.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and that's big, man. But you would think that it would have more of us in it. Again, as he was saying, when you were coming, I was like, what? When you told me, and I was like, man, that's what's up, because you get to see us not making just a racial thing, but I'm for my people.
Right.
And just to see us doing something differently, it's just, like I said, it's just very elating, man. Just to see somebody doing that and just saying, I'm just not gonna sit here and just get the money, but I'm gonna actually go out. I'm finna do something and see what I notice. But that's very perplexing, man, to see that we're not getting into that. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting into that.
I think it's because it's a lot of we don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people think you
Definitely
need
true.
a law degree. And that's the first thing that's the first.
I thought you needed a degree.
Everybody did. Everybody did. I did too
Same
until I
with real
researched
estate,
it.
yeah.
So that mental barrier is the first thing that stops you.
Yes, sir.
And then once you overcome that, then it's the resources. And it's a lot of things that they do to keep us out of it, because just think, if we did know, then everybody would be signing to their uncle, their dads, and stuff like that. So they put up, things to weed us out. And that's why I created.
Of course, right?
Yeah, that's why.
That filter, man.
Yeah,
it's everywhere. It's everywhere, man.
Right. So
everywhere.
it's just unfortunate, but I think as we become more knowledgeable and we learn, I think we'll grow as a race in the profession.
Because I feel like I agree with what you said. Relationships are very important. I think people underestimate them. Communication, networking. Sometimes those things can help you. Just because, let's say, for example, we doing business together, and you have a business and you need something, and I do what you need. All of a sudden, it's Stone Mountain. All right, cool. That's it.
Most
Simple.
definitely.
Simplicity. So I just think it's important. I think people always underestimate that, because they always assume, man, I can do it on my own. It's very hard to do it on your own.
My New Year's resolution was to no longer compete. All I want to do is collaborate.
That's it.
From now
Yes,
on,
sir.
because a lot of times us as a people, we want to move fast. We want to be the CEO
top dog.
of
Yeah.
Make Nothing company, instead of being a part of something where that 10% get everything. So from now on, I told everybody we're moving correctly. So that's why we created that class, because we wanted to expand. Because if it's more people that I don't want to be the only agent.
Right.
I want to have
Right.
a network where we can come together like the other people outside of the community do. We're the only ones that want to be alone.
ISO.
And compete against teams, and it don't work like that.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I tell people, I tell myself all the time, something I adapt. And I told a guy, he was talking about competition. I don't believe in it. It's of the ego. And I get wanting to be first, but you have to be first in your life. But for us, as you said, it breaks us down to where you get that individual where you say, hey man, I see what you're doing. I like what you're doing. If you don't mind, could you fill me in? And you get that cold shoulder because of the ego and the competition. Because the first thing, I don't want you to make it before me, and God forbid I let you in and you make $1 more than me. And that's one of the most. It's so sad to see individuals don't want to get information. One thing about it, if you give somebody something and they make more, that's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
You still gonna be sustained, but that's the problem. Competition, you said a word there. It's no competition, and that frees you so much in any field you in.
I think it's just about growth. Because
Yes, sir.
I used to
Yes,
be the
sir.
same way, growing up.
right.
But then you start to see the big picture, and you start to realize we were conditioned that way.
Yes,
You
sir.
just look at athletes on the court. They get on the basketball court, and they're will almost come to blows.
Right.
Will fight and
Right.
do all these things, and supposed to be against each other. But then you look up in the stand, the owners are
Hanging out with
hanging out.
They hanging out, right?
having a ball.
Especially in in the NFL, kind of I was noticing when a lot of DBs were getting contracts, and then this DB would say, "Oh, well, he don't deserve that. I should get this."
Right,
And it's like, no, this you got to stay together. That way, it increases the market, and helps everybody out.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Bingo.
But you worried about you letting your ego get in the way of trying to say, "I'm better than him. I should get paid more than everybody else."
Yeah, the ego is powerful, man.
Definitely
It
is.
is.
You know,
It
you got
is.
to experience a lot of ego deaths and keep it and allow it to be checked. Because if not, it'll get out of hand, man. So speaking of ego,